So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger. There you go. And maybe some rockets, too. Actually, I should probably upgrade the power plant. I did like the leather seats on that LX, though. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see what this baby can do. Bigger cargo.
RSI's Aurora. There are many like it, but this one is yours.
And hello once again, I'm Zapnar for Mog Nation, and welcome to another installment of Star Citizen with Zap and GW. I'm Zap, and here's GW.
Good evening.
Well, how was the week?
Long.
You could say that again. I am glad it's Friday, that's for sure.
Yes, that is definitely for sure.
Okay, first up, this is the starter ship Free Flight Week. Starts tonight and goes through next Friday. So you have access to all of the Auroras and all of the Mustangs here this next week.
Yep,
so take advantage of that.
Cluttering up your holo table.
Well, they did make that one little advance, didn't they, where they glow a different color? Or is that just for what you've got rented?
It's only for what you got rented, so they make you think that you own those ships, but you don't.
Oh, okay, great. More ships.
Yeah.
Okay, also, let's see, this week, the Starfarer sale ends Monday the 18th.
Yep.
So you've got a few more days for that concept sale, or semi-concept sale.
So if you ever wanted to have a lot of gas in space, this is your shot.
Yeah, I had the Starfarer, gosh, now for what, over 2 years.
Never melted that thing, huh?
Yeah, no, I still got
you
it.
got rid of your Phoenix. I'm offended.
Well, you know, it was the hot tub.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, well. All right, let's see. Also this week, patch 1.1.3. There's not much to this one. It's kind of balancing tweaks and game adjustments more than anything else. They had to add some reminders and such for the new tutorial, which frankly the tutorial is really good to go through. I hope people are enjoying that.
Yeah, I mean, heck, I even learned something from it. I learned that if you are, if somebody fires a heat-seeking missile at you and you launch your flares, don't boost away. Why? Because your boosts actually emit more heat than your flares, so you negate your flares. I didn't know that. So
Yeah,
you learned something new.
Yeah, something that I just wasn't aware of at all.
Yeah.
Now,
Which is kind of cool that it can actually have that kind of effect. Anyways, keep going.
I was going to say, just wanted to point to the fact that the known issues list seems to be growing. So I guess we can expect that simply because, you know, it is a complex game and we are still in alpha, so I'm not going to be too worried about it, although it's pretty extensive.
It's all gonna get fixed with 1.2. Just watch.
Okay, great. So wipe it all
I mean,
clean.
Don't hold me to that, because I don't really believe what I just said.
Now, some of the complaints I've had over the past several weeks about the character model, those are on the known issues list. So, you know, at least they're working on it.
Yeah, anything
Hope they
regarding
get it fixed.
character models, animations, all that kind of stuff, I think that's going to be sitting on that known list until 1.2 hits. Because if they're getting all that stuff fixed up and they have this whole different animation system and all that put in place for the FPS module, why go into the effort of trying to fix these little things now that relate to animation if it's just going to become obsolete with the brand new system they're bringing in with 1.2? So I think that's kind of what that's going to represent.
Yeah, and I'm going to hold with my theory that part of what's holding up the first-person shooter happens to be the character model. I really think that is one of the big holdups. And of course, they're doing a lot more motion capture, not only for Squadron 42, but they're cleaning up the character model. They did show some animations this week and last week, I think. The characters, both in light, medium, and heavy armor. I have to say, though, I think those are mocap results rather than character model results. What do you think?
Oh, you think like it's not actually going to be that way? Like, what do you mean?
I think that was a motion capture video rather than what's actually coded in game.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Now,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I will agree with that to an extent, but I mean, all of the animations right now, they're kind of getting mocapped. That's kind of the whole point. So,
Right.
and you're just transitioning between the different mocap shoots. Obviously, things like the dancing, heavy, whatever that guy was, is just a full-on mocap shoot. That's just a single animation kind of thing. That's obvious, but I don't know. I think that. I mean, because they kind of did show like some animations of like how when you transition from going like sprinting to stopping to sidestepping and all that, how there's kind of like those like transitional movements. That's all in game, and that was all just like a live demonstration of that. But I think I kind of agree with you that 1.2 is being delayed due to like character model stuff. I think I'm going to kind of narrow in on it though. I think it's due to two things. I think the first one is character animation. Specifically related to the 0G and how that all works. I think they're really trying to make that the showcase of the FPS module, because it's the thing that makes it stand out against all other like FPS games out there, kind of thing. So I think they're really wanting to nail that as much as they can when the FPS module first hits. So I think there's that, and I also think it's because of the reception it got from, what was it, PAX, or I'm jumbled them all up. When they first showcased that 0G combat, I don't think the reception of it was all that great because it was pretty rough. So I think they're really trying to now hone in so that's a great first impression. So there's that I think they're really trying to work on. And then the second thing, which I think I'm now completely drawing a blank on, is... Oh, I just lost it. I'll come back to it.
Okay. I was just going to say, on the plus side, however, taking a look at the NPC character that we get in the tutorial, that is a fantastic character modeling, as well as what they've done. If you take a close look at the armor and detail that they're showing on the light, medium, and heavy armor dudes, that's really, really polished looking. I mean, there's not very many games out there that look that good.
Makes me scared as to what it's going to take to run it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
which is another hurdle, of course. It's just super complex.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's going to take them a while to get rid of these known issues list.
I think so. So, we'll see. I think, and the other thing too is that I think they're trying to implement this saddle ball, game mode as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was like a brand new thing that they really hadn't started tackling until after I think the deadline had already been passed. but now they're wanting to get it thrown in there to kind of showcase the FPS, or not FPS, but the zero-G combat. And I think that's another big thing that they're having to really tackle it as well, is getting that all functioning and built out.
Yeah, and you know, I think on the Saddle Ball, I will probably approach that the same way I approach racing. That's to hone my skills in movement.
Right.
You know, racing hones your skills as far as flight controls go. The Saddle Ball is going to hone your skill on zero-G FPS.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, let's see. Moving on to some of the other things that came up. They had announced some of the things that they wanted to add to the game in flight mode, and one of those was, as you call it, the wingman taunt, wingman commands. Boy, it sounds like I'm glad I brought that up.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was this week's Around the Verse. They started going and talking about I forget what segment they had mentioned it. Oh, it was during the Spectrum dispatch, and they were in Santa Monica.
Right.
And they basically were talking about how they were going to start implementing, wingman commands, which is great. I mean, they need to, get that implemented. That's going to be a core aspect of being able to control NPCs that you hire and all that stuff. So it's the building blocks. Great stuff. My one major thing that kind of just made me tilt my head and go, what? Is when they mentioned some taunt command ability, whatever, where you could essentially tell your wingman to taunt the enemy combatant off of you. Well, here's a big problem with that. That just feels so gamey to me, and that's so unlike Star Citizen. I mean, in real life, I can't have somebody just go ahead and just taunt somebody off of me, and then they will just do it no matter what because the other person said, nanny nanny boo boo, come get me. It just
Although
doesn't work
sometimes that may work.
Sometimes, but basically, it's not. It doesn't feel natural. It's a very gamey system. Maybe they have something, because they didn't go into a lot of detail. So maybe they're thinking of something that I just haven't thought of yet. But as of the way they described it, it just felt very non-like SC.
As far as immersion goes, the only way I can see that would happen would be to, on a wingman command, get your wingman into a position where your opponent has no choice but to break off of you.
He kind of goes in between you guys to kind of basically take.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. Those type of immersive situations, I think would go well. But yeah, I think you're right. Though we need to hear more about it.
Right. And see that sounds like what you just described. It does sound good in theory. The problem I see with that though is the actual implementation of it. Like in real life, if my wingman, if I tell him, I'm like, hey, I need you to get this guy off of me, and I'm telling him where I'm going, where I'm going to be, so he can kind of get in between and do whatever he needs to do. I can't do that with an NPC. So the NPC is not going to know where I'm flying. So what, do I have to just kind of hold in a straight line, let this guy wail on me until my NPC finally arrives to get kind of in between and try and get this guy to break off of me? I don't know. Because if I start doing all these random hard maneuvers, he's not going to be able to do that. He can't anticipate where I'm going.
Yeah, if that's the case, am I going to have to make a choice? Do I want to take a bullet for you?
Right? Yeah. So I don't know.
Oh,
it's a very interesting concept. And my one caveat that I guess it would kind of make sense is that if this is only implemented within Arena Commander and not within the persistent universe, because Arena Commander is in itself a game. I mean, it's got gamey things within it that kind of just it tells you how much damage you're doing. Yeah, it tells you how much damage you're doing to the enemy ship and all that kind of gamey stuff, and that's fine. So if they're doing it like that, I can kind of understand that, and whatever, we're good with it. Just don't throw that into the persistent universe.
Yeah, they'll have to be very careful with that. I hope they can come up with a decent way to do it, because would be kind of cool to be able to have an opponent break off of your tail, especially if you've got 3 or 4 opponents on your wingman. You got to help them out somehow.
Yeah.
Moving on. do we LTI controversy again?
So much controversy.
Oh man. Well, this cropped up again with the Starfarer sale. Now the Starfarer itself isn't a new concept. The ship's been out for, well, almost since the original Pledge Drive, right? Wasn't it like
Yeah, it was
first
like one of the really, really
2 or
early
3
ones
add-ons? Yeah.
that Ben kind of like drafted up when they were doing like that random series of like I want to say it was like there was like a couple like a time frame of like 200,000 in funding.
Yeah.
Where like every 10,000 he would just come up with a new ship as a
Right.
idea, and I think Starfire was one of them.
Okay, so originally, backers that backed prior to, was it July 1st of 2013?
Like
Got
veteran backer
LTI.
status?
Yeah, got LTI on all their ships. After that, um, no new backers had LTI on their ship pledges. But
Until
the
they
original
brought about the
backers.
concept sales.
Yeah, well, no, I'm talking about straight up. Originally, what LTI was.
Oh, right. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And those original backers got LTI on any of their ship purchases up through, was it last November?
I think it was November 2013 actually is when they cut it off.
2013?
It's been
Okay.
a while now.
Right, yeah. So, LTI in its pure form has been dead for quite a while now. They brought it back in concept sales. So if you had a new concept, new ship, they were going to sell it for a week or 10 days with LTI as an option. And I thought that was kind of cool because something that on a ship, nobody's had an opportunity to purchase it, especially those original backers who like LTI on their ships, of course. But they extended it to everybody. And there was a little controversy on that. And then it just kind of exacerbated itself here on the Starfarer, which is not a new ship, but the Gemini is. It's a new concept variant of the Starfarer. I didn't think that there was any real issue here, but apparently people were taking exception to it.
I'm an original backer since, October. I was like, I backed the thing like, about 3 weeks after it got announced. So I'm an original backer. Every single ship that I have is LTI. And at this point, I wish LTI never existed because, oh my gosh, what a headache. I can't even imagine how people within CIG, like within their marketing team and all that, feel about LTI. It's just, what a pain. Because it's like, I'm sorry, people are seriously upset right now because CIG has given them more options? This is bad?
Yeah,
Like,
really.
what? You're complaining that CIG is letting you get LTI on this ship because you couldn't in the past? What?
Now, see, I'm one of the backers who was dawdling around in other games and had no idea Star Citizens existed until one of my friends in game said, hey, you got to check this out. So I was like a week late getting LTI on my stuff. So I've been diligently trying to, use these concept sales to get LTI on my ships. And the first thing that CIG will tell you is it's not going to make that much difference anyway. But
and they're saying,
it's
like,
just
those
this
ships
little
that have,
perk.
like,
Yeah.
Right, and they're saying like ships with like 6-month or 2-year LTI or 2-year insurance is basically like the same thing. They're saying there's going to be new models of ships coming out where you're going to be trading that old one in, which means you've lost your LTI within the game. So they're like, this isn't that big of a deal. The problem is it has lifetime attached to it, so people freak out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so it really doesn't matter how much Cloud Imperium stresses that this is not a big deal. It's going to be a big deal to people because it just has the word lifetime on it.
Well, we just need to get the first-person shooter module out so people aren't so bored.
And so they can just shoot each other until they calm down. Because, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I mean, I really don't understand. When I heard that there was like all this rage on the forums, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It's a brand new ship. It's never been offered before. Yeah, it's a variant, but who cares? I don't understand. It's like if you had the original ship and it wasn't LTI, just melt it and then buy the LTI version. Like, I don't get it. Like, what? I don't
Well,
understand.
that's what I've been doing. I've been trading in chips, getting the LTI version, taking
And
full
if you
advantage
had
of
an
anything that I
LTI,
could do. Yeah.
right? So it's like there's no lose here. If you
No,
just
there's
had a
not.
Starfarer without LTI and you wanted the Gemini, melt that one and then use those credits to help you buy a Gemini LTI. Or if you had an LTI Starfarer, then just buy the upgrade for the Gemini and you still keep your LTI. Like, there's nothing to lose here. What's the problem?
The only ship I don't have LTI on now is my freelancer, uh, and I'm not going to melt my freelancer. But
Yet.
I yeah, yet. But yeah, it's just one of those ships, of course, that I just am struck with that I think I'm probably going to spend a lot of time in. But
Yeah.
yep, that's the one that I don't have LTI on. All right, moving on here, the other hot topic this week was controller balancing. All right,
Yeah.
so here the
Again,
thing is, yeah.
where's the controversy here?
Well, there was a good point made on the forums where on the leaderboards,
Hmm?
the top pilots are keyboard mouse users
Okay.
because the mouse gives you a better ability to target. Okay. It doesn't give you, in my opinion anyway, it doesn't give you better control of your ship like a HOTAS
Right.
does, but it
Right.
does give you better targeting capability. And I
Yeah.
guess that's really the root of the controversy right now.
Which, and I get, but you know what? And then, like you just mentioned, there are trade-offs to both. Right now, if the and you know if and it's, I'm sure it's true that the leaderboards may show an edge to the mouse right now. All that means is it just needs to be balanced. That's it, and it can be done. I mean, they've been pushing and pulling the controls since version 0.8. I mean, they've changed drastically across all spectrums, across controllers, HOTAS, joystick, mouse, keyboard, all that stuff. Controls have been adjusted many, many, many times. This is going to be no different. They're going to continue to tweak it because if you looked at the most recent patch that went out, it says Star Citizen Alpha 1.1.3. That
Are we
means that
still in
there is
alpha?
still, yeah, that means there's still a lot of balancing among many, many other things that needs to be done. So I'm not too worried about it. And you know, and I'm a huge um, proponent of HOTAS. I love my HOTAS. I tried a mouse and keyboard and for about 30 seconds before I just was like, nope, I hate it. So, but I also understand that some people want to fly that way. My only thing is don't give it that carrot on a stick mentality. As long as it's not, I point the mouse somewhere on my screen and then my ship will fly to that point until it reaches it and then it will stop. As long as they don't do that kind of flight control for the mouse, I'm good. That one I
Well,
do have a problem with because that one is I played that version in World of Warplanes and it literally made every other control obsolete because it's so there is no flying. There's
yeah,
no you just point and click.
we are almost at that right now with the mouse targeting, and I think
Mm-hmm.
if we take a look at the example that Elite Dangerous has, okay, they have gimbaled weapons and they have standard weapons. Same here in Star Citizen, gimbaled weapons and standard
Mm-hmm.
weapons. The gimbaled weapons, uh, those are pretty much auto targeting. If your target is in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
your gimbaled weapons will be hitting that target if you're firing.
Yeah.
Um, so long
They
as you,
also fire
yeah,
at a much
yeah,
faster rate, and the ships in Elite Dangerous are slower.
yes, yeah, yeah. The model's different. I'm just going to take or pull out the example of the
Sure,
gimbaled
sure.
weapons, uh, and to do that, of course, you're giving up size, weapon size, to use gimbaled weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So the trade-off there is if you're using a HOTAS, and gimbaled weapons. You've got good control over your ship. You might not be putting out the damage per second that you would if you were flying with the mouse and keyboard and using non-gimbaled weapons, but you would have the same targeting capability that you would then with the mouse. And I think that
Sure.
might be the balance in my eyes, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there's really two ways to do it. You could do it that way, or you can do it the way Star Citizen is trying to do it right now. They're just not there yet, and that's fine. I'm willing to give them some time to kind of figure things out and just tweak with it and see what works. Because right now, what Star Citizen is trying to do is, you if you're flying a HOTAS, you maximize your fixed weaponry, so you have the big guns on your HOTAS. So you have the greater degree of maneuverability, and you hit harder. It's just a little bit harder to actually hit. Whereas with the mouse and keyboard, the idea is that it's a little bit harder to have good maneuverability, but if you slap gimbaled weapons on there, you have a much greater degree of aiming with them, and you can maximize their effectiveness. The downside is that they're forced to be smaller weaponry because you have to, slot them to a smaller size and all that jazz. I think right now, though, is that they are just giving a little bit too easily on the maneuvering side to the mouse user. They need to find some way to pull that back a little bit if they're going to keep going along the route that they're going right now. Or they need to reverse everything and do it like ED does.
Okay. The other thing, of course, is a HOTAS does take more practice.
Sure.
But once you relax, your targeting does come much easier. So it just takes more practice than a mouse keyboard does on targeting.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
I'm not
like,
quite.
I feel super comfortable with my X52. Like I feel like I can target it really well. And I use the weapons that maximize what I feel is good for a HOTAS. Like I'm not looking to buy weapons that are either that are the gimbaled. Like I strip off every gimbaled mount on my ships so I can put the biggest guns I can on there. And the guns I put on there for my playstyle, I like to output just a lot of bullets. I'll put on all the CF series guns, so I can just throw bullets out there, and there's a good chance I'm going to hit you now, even if my aim's a little bit off. So I'm not focusing so much on making sure I have to hit you, otherwise I don't do any damage.
Right now, I agree with that concept because I don't think gimbaled weapons are really working as they should right now. So fixed weapons just give you that.
If you're not using a mouse and keyboard, don't use gimbaled weapons. I don't see the point.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to break for a Mustang commercial here, and we'll continue our talk.
All right.
We are drawn towards the familiar. It is safe, reliable, but it can shackle us to the ordinary when in our souls we long to strike out to become something new. We started with a simple mantra. Dare to dream. Dare to challenge the expectations of what's come before. To embrace the unique, to put everything on the line. Only when we risk everything can we discover something truly special and redefine what it means to travel the stars. To explore the farthest reaches. To race on the cutting edge. To protect what you love. Say goodbye to the familiar and welcome the brand new Mustang, where risk meets reward.
Okay, and we're back live. You see me sitting in my Retaliator. Man, I can't wait to get this baby out in space.
Oh, yeah. Do you think it'll be ready for when multi-crew first comes online?
I don't think so. Originally, I thought they were going to use this, but they're going to, I think, concentrate on the Constellation and the Freelancer.
Sounds like it.
They had mentioned early on that they might do this one, but then since then, they've only talked about the Constellation and the Freelancer for multi-crew to start
That's
anyway.
true. Yeah. And also, I think it's kind of implied, but so will the Cutlass and like, I don't know if you even want to consider the Super Hornet as part of that as well, but I imagine those two as well will be implemented just because as of right now, they're somewhat implemented in that you can even hop into the turret at this point.
Oh yeah, they'll continue with that. The Gladiator, Super Hornet,
That too.
and Cutlass. Yeah.
Yep. So we're probably looking at those 5 ships basically to start for multi-crew to be fully implemented.
But wow, yeah, I do like this ship. That is one ship that I definitely was waiting on to get in my hangar. I had ordered this and the Gladiator, and I didn't like the Gladiator when it first came out, so I melted my LTI. But boy,
Of course you
I'm
did.
kind of I'm regretting that.
It's a good little ship, and those
I was
torpedoes
flying
are
it last
packing
week.
a punch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was flying it. Well, I guess the week before last, and I was regretting not having it anymore. But you know, I can always rent it.
There you go. I know. I kind of feel that way with my little Aurora. I kind of, it's a nice little sturdy, fun to fly ship. Amazing how sturdy the Aurora is.
Yeah, I seriously still like it. And yeah, those who don't have an Aurora, take advantage of it this week. They did a recent balance on it, so it's not quite as beefy as it was as far as the damage output, but it still has a decent sized shield.
Right.
And
Which
it'll take a lot of damage.
It did need to reduce a little bit on its damage output. That was kind of ridiculous that it basically was better than a Hornet.
Overpowered, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But yeah, it's a fun little ship. I don't know if we caught this, but the Reliant is going to be going on concept sale next Friday, that's the MISC starter ship. That's the 2-seater that has a lot of heavy Jean technology behind it, right?
Yes, exactly. And I guess the two key things about this starter ship is it is a 2-seater, which is different for a starter ship, and it's supposed to be, I think, a vertical concept ship.
Is it?
Yes, more like that Xeon Scout.
Oh, okay.
So I can't wait to see it. That concept they're thinking might be out by next Friday, a week from today. So yeah, that's one of the ships I've been kind of waiting on. I love that Mustang commercial, but I've never been really enamored with the Mustang itself. I love the Aurora, and I think the difference between the two is the Aurora is more versatile, and that's where my heart is. Versatile ships as opposed to what I would consider a little bit more light duty ship.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I do like my Delta, but I'm questioning it because I don't see when I would ever use it. Whereas with the Aurora, if I just want to mess around, do dumb things, haul little bits of cargo, or just whatever, I can do that with the Aurora. I feel like I'm slightly limited with my Mustang Delta because it's basically it's a scout combat ship kind of thing. It's just a light combat ship. Well, if I'm going to do combat, I'm going to do it in my Super Hornet. That's what I'm going to do. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe see if there's some kind of reverse cross chassis or something back to my Aurora LN or something. We'll see what's available. But,
yeah, I hear you.
Know.
But yeah,
or just wait and see what's out for that at Reliant. Because that's going to be. How much did they say that one was going to be?
It's going to be $50.
That's right.
It's that's $15
end.
more than the starter Aurora, but
yeah,
still in that same price range. Some people were not liking the $50 price tag, but I have to wait and see it.
It's it's one of those things where it's like, yes, it is a starter ship, but it's also sounds like it's going to have a lot more features than your basic starter ship. So you got to take that in consideration. It is a 2-seater, So it's got that whole multiplayer aspect to it. The Jean technology, different design, doing all that, whatever. So that didn't surprise me on the price tag that much. So let's
No,
just see what
I
they
think
have
it's
coming.
in line. Yeah. So, starter price points right now. The ships that you can get or will be able to get as far as a pledge goes. Of course, you don't have to pledge, but as far as pledge goes, you've got the Aurora lineup, which gives you quite a bit of flexibility between those 4 ships or 5 ships, 4 ships. You've got the Mustang lineup, anywhere from like a heavy like missile ship to a light racing ship. And then you've got, they don't call it a starter ship, but it's in the price point, and that would be the Hull A.
Right.
So if you wanted just to...
I'd consider it a starter
yeah,
ship. I mean,
yeah,
it
I
pretty
think
much
so,
is.
yeah. And then we'll have this Reliant coming out. So I think that's a good starter lineup
Yeah.
for people that want to get into this game for $50 or less. That's, that's the cost of a good console game.
That's pretty much any AAA game out there. You're not getting for cheaper than $50 off the gate.
Right.
So I think that's completely reasonable. I think that anybody really complaining about it is kind of spoiled right now.
And it gives
So-
you a nice spread on what
It
you can
does.
do with the ship. Yeah.
Really, yeah. So if you're just coming into the game, you have all these 5 ships. I mean, do you want to have a jack of all trades? Do you want to have something a little bit lighter, more scout-like? Do you want to have something, to race? Do you want to have something that's just for hauling cargo? Do you want to jump, you and your friend just kind of, jump right into doing more multi-crew stuff? Like, you have all of these options right from the get-go. That's nice.
Yeah. Okay, I have rented myself a Gladius somewhere. I'll look
Still
for the pink ships.
I was noticing the stills chat. Yes, you can get Witcher 3 dirt cheap at GOG right now, but that doesn't count for the AAA titles.
Well, I'm not seeing it here.
What are you looking for?
My Gladius.
Did you run out of the renting time?
I had just rented before we started.
Oh, did you restart your computer, or not computer, but your client?
No, maybe that's it. Yeah.
That's probably it. You'll have to probably restart to kind of refresh.
But look at all these auroras.
I know they're everywhere. All the auroras
Well,
that you rented. So you have like a double
yeah.
of all the auroras.
Well, see, I had rented those auroras so that I knew exactly which one of those handled the best
Right, so
when
you-
we had that racing going on.
Yep.
I had to win. Had to win.
Yeah.
So now I still have them in here.
Oh man.
Okay, yeah, it's not here. So I'm gonna do a quick restart, I think.
All right. Well, let's see
I
what
get
else
that
was
in
on
there.
the agenda then for tonight on chat-wise.
I think that was it, other than maybe some conjecture as far as when we're going to get the first-person shooter.
Oh man, I don't know. I am just really looking forward to it, so I'm getting a little impatient on that now. But I'll keep holding out. Can't really do anything else but that. So,
Well, we were chatting before we went live here,
Mhm.
and I think part of the problem is that I know I'm kind of bored waiting around. I think that'll take a lot of the controversy out of the forums if we have more to do.
oh, I agree.
So-
Give something for people to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have got no qualms against that. But I at this point, if they're willing to do as much polish as they kind of claiming they are, I'm really not holding my breath for. I will be shocked if it comes out prior to June or prior to end of June.
End of June, yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's to the point where I really, really want to play this game. So I am kind of not very patient for their next iterations. But at the same time, you are correct. It needs to be right. We do need to be patient, even though it's tough to do.
Yep. So, it'll come in due time. What? Every extra day that it is not here just means an extra day of polish that's going into it, and I'm good with that. When it came out for Arena Commander way back when, it was fun. There was a lot of things that needed to be updated and tweaked and all that, and really, I don't think Arena Commander has kind of achieved what they really meant to achieve with it until about 1.1.
I will agree with that, yeah.
Because version 1 was kind of like that epitome, but it had so many bugs, so they fixed those bugs with 1.1. And so I think when they finally got to 1.1, that's when they kind of had this is what the original release of Arena Commander was meant to feel like kind of thing. And I still enjoyed all of it leading up to that. I still had so much fun in Arena Commander. And I think that's what they're trying to do right now with the first-person shooter, the Star Marine. I think they're trying to release the 1.1 of it, as opposed to the 0.8 of it.
Yeah, and really that is the right thing to do. You'd pointed out earlier that the zero-G combat wasn't all that well received. It was cool, but wasn't all that well received when they showed it at PAX or South by Southwest, whatever
it just felt very slow. It felt static, and really, me watching it, I was kind of bored watching them play it. I was, it's like, wow, okay, this does not feel. I'm like, maybe it's just funner to play than to watch, but that's not a good impression. That's not a good first impression for me, at least.
Right.
If I'm not going to enjoy watching it, I'm probably not going to enjoy playing it that much. But on the flip side, like when they first showed the demo of just the regular combat, first-person combat, like a couple months prior to that, I thought that was amazing. It looked so great. So, I'm willing to hold out so that they make it be as good as it can be, and have that zero-G combat really be something that they can showcase and be like, look, no other game really does it like this, and we're showing you how awesome we are with this now. So I'm good with it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get my Gladius going here, and let's do some co-op Vandal.
Sounds good. Kylet in the chat roll says, is this game easier to play with a controller versus a keyboard? Well, one, if you're saying like game controller, I don't have a good answer for you on that one because I actually do not. I've never tried a game controller. I could probably hook up one of my old PS3 controllers and give it a go, but I just haven't done it because I really enjoy my X52 Pro, which is a HOTAS stick and throttle. I did briefly, and this was back in like 0.9 version. Tried out the mouse and keyboard, and I've been with all the flight simulation games I've ever flown. Back when I first started with X-Wing and all those games, I started off with a stick. I had my Sidewinder, force feedback 2, joystick, and ever since then, every flight game I've done has been with a stick. So I've never been that accustomed to mouse and keyboard. It just doesn't feel right to me flying that game. Some people love it, some people swear by it, and that's totally fine. And if you want to go down that route, that's cool. And like we were discussing earlier in the stream, I don't know if you were here at the time, but even right now, the leaderboards kind of show a lean towards mouse and keyboard being a little bit more optimized, I guess, which they're still looking to balance so that all controls are equal. And that's their ultimate goal. They want all controls to be equal across, so you can fly whatever it is you would prefer to fly. I don't care if mouse and keyboard is theoretically better right now, or statistically better right now. I would personally be awful with it. I'm going to want to fly with my joystick.
Okay, GW, I'm going to give you an invite here.
Okay, sounds good.
Cooperative Vandal Swarm on Broken Moon.
Trying to... My mouse keeps disappearing on me. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to select my ship, but it... Yeah... Hold on. Oh, that's because my game just crashed on me.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Let me reload.
All right. While you are
I
doing
mean-
that, I am going to break over to a Retaliator commercial. Man,
Alright.
that ship is just so cool. Okay, and we're back live. GW, how you doing on that reload there?
Ready for the invite when you're ready.
Okay. And yeah, people were talking about performance. On stream
Yes.
nights, my PC really sucks wind.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, this most recent patch is not being very friendly with me in terms of not crashing. Alright, so... Okay, got my ship. I am ready.
All right, let's see. Vandal Swarm, Broken Moon, launch.
But yeah, I mean, the game right now is... it's not completely optimized. They've done some optimization on it right now. Like, level of detail, that kind of stuff they have started to implement. So that has definitely helped. And they're doing other things too. One of which they were talking about load times they're going to start to hopefully drastically fix within one of these bigger upcoming patches. And I mean, as of right now, I'm running dual 770s, and I push within. My hanger is actually for surprisingly like not that great. I'll be around 40 frames per second on max settings, max graphics. Within the actual arena commander, like flight mode, I'm a pretty steady 50 frames per second.
Well, have you been running SLI recently? I haven't run in a long time. SLI.
Yeah, I have SLI on mine, and it seems to be working pretty good.
I might have to give that a shot, but I know right now it's the CPU that's really my bottleneck.
Gotcha.
I look over everything that I have to run to do the stream. My temperature is right now 55 degrees. I'm at 70% utilization on my CPU. Yeah, I know.
I just hit X when you're ready. Oh, you did. There we go.
Vandal swarm initiated.
Right.
X. Oh, I'm not moving.
All right.
Okay, you're on your own for a moment.
Ship this time? Oh, okay. Sweet, because I actually have a functional ship this time. Last time I was flying with the tally screen in front of my screen the whole time. Did you crash back?
No, I just am binding here.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Oh, did you not load your profile?
Apparently not. Let's try.
That's okay. I'll just get my score up before you come back in.
Oh, here we go. I'm rolling.
All right, here we go.
Hostile destroyed.
Save one for me. Oh!
Remaining. Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Where'd they go?
All right, what's your top speed there?
Top speed is 200 in the Super Hornet,
Gotcha.
which I think it's across all Hornets is 200.
Hostile destroyed.
Oh, there's an asteroid right there. Woo, I almost crashed into it. Ah, stole it from us. Those are 240, right, on the max speed?
Yep.
Contact. Elite.
You know, something that I just realized that, not just realized, noticed it for a little while now, that kind of bugs me, because I like to target my friendlies and then pin them to my radar so that I can just kind of monitor your guys' health. It's an easy way to kind of, situational awareness to make sure my, wingmates are doing okay. Problem is that with the radar system right now, it doesn't really differentiate between friend and foe in that if I lose your signal, it drops the pin off the radar. And I'm like, really? Like, there should be something different to where, we're slave to each other in that sense to where I'm not going to lose your signal because you go behind an asteroid. Do you have a Little King? Or do you want me to... I didn't realize we were at that point already.
I'm chewing him up.
Alright. Okay, let me help. Missiles!
Elite units eliminated. Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Poor little king. he
I
goes down
know.
pretty quick these days.
He really does.
Alright, I'm on you.
Alright. Don't be on my tail to the right. Burn yourself up.
Hostile destroyed. Hostile destroyed. Hostile destroyed.
Well, you get 3, I get 1.
Like I said, man, these CFs, I love these guns. Even though they nerf me.
I'm using Omnescus right now.
See, I tried. That's just
It's
I've
good
tried
on this
Omnescus, but
frame.
yeah. But it's just not really my playstyle. Maybe I'm just inaccurate enough with my guns that I need those extra bullets because I feel like I miss way too often for those Omnescus because they do pack a huge punch, but you got to make sure you hit them. What the heck? I just lost all control. What just happened? I lost control of my stick. There we go. Now I'm back. That was weird. Oh, and I'm losing control again. What is happening here? Something's being weird with my stick right now. I don't know if somebody hit one of my thrusters, but I'm perpetually going down right now unless I force it to go up.
Well, I can keep this last dude. Oh, he's shooting. Never mind. Never mind.
I'm like, I can still hold this. Like, if I hold it at like a, 45-degree angle pulling up, then I'm going straight. Oh, this is so weird. What just
Yeah, I was
happened?
gonna
Like,
say
for a second
I
there.
can wait till you fix it. But
Oh,
then
I don't
you
know how
shot
to
the
fix
last
it.
guy.
That's the problem. Maybe if I reset my key bindings?
Okay, I've got pre.
Alright. Ship doesn't look damaged.
Or he got me. Holy
Oh,
cow.
no.
That happened with whatever it was.
Wow. I think he's equipped with different missiles. He's firing the EM missiles. Just realized that. Well, this is really hard to aim with right now. Whoa, that hurt. Well, whatever that did knocked my ship back into orbit. Oh, now I'm just completely dead in the water. I might have to eject. Yeah, I gotta eject. Hopefully that just resets
Priest
my
is dead.
control.
Man, I cannot get away from this stupid central spike.
Is it gonna let me respawn? There we go. Nope, my controls are still doing the same thing, so something weird happened. Why is it every time we stream, something weird happens with my game? Yeah, it's something hard to control. You got 2 on your tail right now with 3. Nope, there's 2. I'll taunt him off of you.
Would you... What the hell? Is that you and missiles or?
Yeah, it was missiles.
All right, maybe you'll respawn now.
Man, I don't know what's with my controls right now. This is so weird. I've never
Alright,
had this
can you respawn?
happen before. I tried. I ejected that last time, but when I did, when I came back, it was still doing the same thing. It's like just a perpetual downward.
All right, let's go ahead and restart then.
I'm gonna fire all my missiles at this poor scavenger. There you go. Whoa, that rocked my screen. Alright. Are we gonna restart it?
Yeah. I just had to get that target. Okay, restart.
Alright.
Back to the hangar. And we have reached our 1 hour mark here, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream.
That's what happened. See? We hit the limit, so my game was like, nope, you're gonna be done now.
All right, for Mog Nation, Zap and GW, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Next week we will not be broadcasting due to Memorial Day weekend, and hope everybody has safe travels next week, and we'll see you in 2.